Welcome back to the channel. I'm Rebel Lion of the Electron Rebels, the Grand Admiral, and this is Bike Talk, the personal vlog of an enthusiast. Now, an enthusiast is a person that is thoroughly interested in electric technology. Today's tech topic comes from the question, what are the advantages and disadvantages of an electric bike? Now, keep in mind, I can only answer these questions from my own personal point of view or my own personal experience. So allow me to explain. Electric bikes have many advantages over standard bikes, and I'll give you three. Pedaling with ease. Number one, I built my electric bike for convenience, not for physical fitness. I work out regularly, so I didn't see a need for extra sweat. Ghost Cruiser gets me 15 to 20 miles per hour, and that is standard for an electric bike. However, there are electric bikes that get you 20 to 30 miles per hour, and some at 38 miles per hour, depending on the size of the motor and the size of the payload. And we all know that high speeds allow a rider more miles and more adventure, if you know what I mean. There's also the ability to take hills with ease. Long gone are the days of arriving at your destination drenched in sweat and red in the face. All right, our second advantage to an electric bike. More affordable than an automobile. Now, this is by far my ultimate favorite advantage of an electric bike, the cost. I mean, even when you're spending $10,000 on an electric bike, you're still spending way less in the broader future than you would, say, if you bought a fuel-powered motorbike or moped. It's simply a matter of quality over prehistoric technology. It's just that simple. And that brings me to the third advantage of an electric bike. The roads get bigger, longer, and more accessible. Now, what do I mean by that? You see, we as enthusiasts have this term that we've coined called the dash lane. And the dash lane is every path, trail, road, sidewalk, escalator. I think you're getting my point. The point of the dash lane is we as riders can get anywhere we want and need in a dash. Now, I'm not saying that owning an electric bike is all roses. Of course, there's some disadvantages to owning an electric bike, and I'll give you three. The first disadvantage would be heavy and bulky. Electric bikes lean to the heavy, bulky side. And that's something that you want to consider if you plan on storing your bike in your home, because you don't want a heavy, bulky item in a space that you don't have a designation for. The other would be commuting. If you commute with your bike and you plan on using an electric bike to commute by bus or train, you want to consider the storage spaces for a bus or a train. Could be too heavy for a bus rack, a front rack. It could be too heavy for a train standing rack, and that you could never tell. So that's something that you want to consider. I considered it. I don't have a bulk issue as much as I have a weight issue. Ghost Cruiser's heavy, and I built Ghost Cruiser heavy specifically to deter thieves. So that's something that I considered. All right, and then that brings us to our second disadvantage. The second disadvantage would be running out of power. And although it's not happened to me often, I've been caught out there with my pants down a time or two. And I've run out of juice approximately 3 times. And luckily, I was maybe 2-3 miles away from home, which isn't bad, because if I was 5, it would really suck. But with that said, it's when you're out of power does that big bulky issue become a problem. And not because it's a big and bulky electric bike, but mainly because you did not charge your battery the night before. Big mistake. And I figure after it happens 2 or 3 times, you will definitely remember to charge your battery up the night before. And our third disadvantage to an electric bike would be you're vulnerable to weather and all the elements. And that is not just an electric bike issue, that is an all bike issue. It doesn't matter what bike you're on, whether you're motorcycle, bike, electric bike, moped, motorbike, it's all the same. You are basically vulnerable to the elements and the weather. And the only way you can solve those issues is by regularly maintaining your bike so that you don't crash, you don't have any mechanical malfunctions, and wear protective gear. Elbow pads, knee pads. I mean, they may be dorky, but they save your skin. you know. And then protective rain gear. There's all kinds of gear that you can wear for the elements to keep the water off of you. You know, there's thermal gloves, there's thermal socks, there's thermals, you know, long underwear, thermal tops, and then there's also rainproof gear, and is also snowproof gear. So there's all kind of ways to combat weather and elements. So that would be the third disadvantage for an electric bike. So that's my take. You be the judge. If you'd like to be part of our purpose, mission, and our journey, please consider becoming part of the Electron Rebels Bike Club. You can find links to the club in the description below. Ride easy.